we're here with Warhammer Conquest 40K, the newest LCG from Fantasy Flight Games. Pretty sweet game. I've been demoing it today, and will be all weekend. One of my favorite LCGs that they have come out with yet. Lots of phases, lots of different interesting things happening in the Warhammer 40K genre in the series here. So let's just jump right into the game. We've got lots of phases, lots of planets. It's a two-player game, and we're going to be battling over these 7 planets to try and defeat your opponent, gather resources and everything like that. The winner of the game is when one player collects 3 of these colored icons from these different planets. There's red, green, and blue. The colors don't actually really matter. They're just winning conditions for the game. And that's where we're going to be deploying army units and supports and attachments and everything to try and take control of these 7 planets. So these would get flipped over at the beginning of the game. Each player's got their warlord. So I'm the orcs over here. I've got Nazdrag over here. We got Captain Cato Sicarius for the Space Marines. So they have their combat stats here, and they also have the amount of resources that they start with. So 7 cards, 7 resources. So each player would start with their respective amount. So I'd start with 7 cards, and our nice shiny blue tokens over here are our resources. So at this time, we would flip over the planets and get to see our hand, and we'd get to choose one mulligan if we'd so like. I've got lots of army units, so that's going to be fine. So there's 4 different types of cards that exist in the game besides our warlord. We have our army units, which make up probably about 75% of our game here. They're going to be the units that we're deploying to the planets and sending in to battle each other. We've got event units, which work kind of like interrupt cards and can be used whenever they basically are applicable. There's 2 other types of cards. There's attachments that can be used as equip cards for other characters, and then there are supports. They sit in your headquarters, and they will basically do special actions throughout the game. So back with my cards here. There is initiative in this game, so that basically determines who gets to go first. That gets switched off and on throughout the rounds, throughout each planet. So this is going to be the first planet, so I'll put the first planet token there. I'll start with initiative. We're going to jump right into the deploy phase. So this is where each player is going to get to alternate off deploying their units that they wish to any planet. So keep in mind the victory conditions. There's also various other things on these planets. There's going to be command struggles where we get to gather resources. Right here, these are going to be the amount of resources, the blue tokens that you get. And then you actually get to draw cards also. They have battle abilities that will trigger later during combat. So I'll just jump right into the deploy phase. So I get to start first with the initiative, so I can look at my hand and say that I want to spend 2 resources, and I'll send a rocket boy to planet Yvarn, which is the first planet here. And then it would be your turn to deploy a unit. So you can send in the tactical squad or a dreadnought. Dreadnought's the crazy guy here. So we'll just say that you sent the dreadnought over here to planet 2, which is Barless. We would alternate until we both have no more remaining resources or until 2 players pass. So I can spend 1 for a shoot-em-mob, send him to Ossus 4, and then let's just say I'll spend 4 for rugged killicans, and I'll send him to Barless also. At this point, the deploy phase is concluded, and we go into the command phase. That's when we're going to use our fancy dials here to secretly choose which planet we want to go to with our warlords. Each time we go through this phase, we're going to send our warlord to a planet of our choice, and then they're going to be revealed by both players simultaneously. So I would choose the planet to go to. You would also choose the planet to go to. Once both are ready, they'll flip. So I've chosen planet 2 in the line of succession, 1 through 5 right here. So then my warlord, wherever he is at, Nazdrag, I'd send him on over to 2. You'd send yours on over to 1. From here, this is where we resolve the command struggle on each planet. So that's when we get to collect our resources. If there is a warlord on any given planet, he will automatically win the command struggle. So that would give you one extra resource. Over here, I have my warlord, so that gives me 2 cards. And then over here, when there's any given number of army units on each side, or there's a warlord on each side, it goes based off these command icons that your army units are going to have. So since I have one command icon right here, I would also take OSIS 4. After that, once our resources have been allocated from the command phase and the command step, then we're going to go into combat phase. Combat happens on any number of planets, which is going to be the first planet or any planet that has a warlord attached to them. So a planet would happen at 1 and 2. We'd go back and forth, exhausting our units, sending them at each other, and doing battle for these planets. In the long run, you're probably going to win this one. For the speedy way, that guy would be defeated. You would send your attacker. I have the option of spending any of my event cards or attachment cards with these shield icons on them to try and block damage too. So some of these cards have double use out of them. So if, say you defeated my rocket boy there, you would then take this planet. This would go into your victory area, and then you have the option to resolve the battle ability of the planet that you've won. So each player puts a unit into play from his hand to their HQ. So if you had the Dreadnought in your hand, this would be a great opportunity to slam him down, throw him in your headquarters, and then he comes with your warlord whenever he goes to your next place. So then that battle would be finished. Your warlord would then go back to your headquarters. This would go into your victory display. We would do a battle here because I have a warlord at this location, so a battle would happen here and not any of these planets. Once all the planets and battles have been finished here, so let's just say that I defeated your Dreadnought here, and then I won this one, so I could trigger the battle ability, discard one card at random from your opponent's hand. I'd make you discard. And this planet would stay because it is not the first planet, only the first planet is collected. Then no more battles happen. Then we would go into the headquarters phase. So we move the first planet token over to planet 2, which is now planet 1. We reveal the next planet down if we have one, and we do for the first 2 phases. And then this is kind of our second upkeep phase where we're going to grab 4 more resources each and 2 more cards. And that's going to continue until all the planets have been battled upon, so that a player will have 3 of these icons. If no player has 3 icons by the time it gets to the last planet, then the winner of the battle is the one who claims the last planet. The alternative win condition is if I kill your warlord. Your warlord's got 2 steps. He's got his 6 health here and his special ability. If I were to defeat him in combat, he would immediately go back to his headquarters and flip over to his bloodied state, where he loses his ability and he's a little bit weaker with 5 health. If I then defeated this warlord here, then the battle would automatically be mine regardless of the planets. You're welcome.